Don't know where it goes. I'm on a road. Follow your heart. It won't let you down. Follow your heart. Take the steps beyond your way. Take the steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ranch. And I'm glad you're joining me today. Got some great things in store for you. On the ranch, we are exploring all things Americana. It is a great time to be in Americana music. But what I'm finding is when you talk to different artists, different fans, country music is such a big, wide open field these days. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I'm going to bring you some of the best Americana indie artists spanning the whole globe. And I'm really excited today. Someone kind of from my own backyard, Michael Botte. Woo!
Hey, Randy, my friend, thank you so much for doing this. I was so excited to get your invite and to feel that I was worthy of spending time with you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm honored that you have accepted. You're a busy man these days. You have so many things happening.
Oh, I'm trying. And,
just talking, and doing research, I realize how different circles that we travel. It's a big business, but it's a small business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just discovered a lot of the things we have in common. Yeah, off camera here. Yes, it's exciting.
So, and some of the people are chiming in already saying they really like the variety of country that, I'm bringing onto the show. And country, again, means different things to different people.
Yes.
And it's interesting because we belong to ISSA, which is International Singer-Songwriter Association.
We do.
Singer-songwriters, I associate with kind of the folk genre. Mm-hmm. But yet, so many of those artists are country artists. Mm-hmm. And I guess if we're singing and we're writing songs.
Yeah.
We're singer-songwriters.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what the folks did. I mean, folk singers were storytellers. Guess what country singers are? They're storytellers. So cut from the same cloth, Randy.
It really is. No, I'm glad you said that because I think this type of songwriting, the only thing keeping us from pop, and there's country pop and there's folk pop and everything else, is the imagery, the storytelling that is country music. And that's why it means so many different things to so many different people.
Yeah, because really, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what country is. Maybe I think I know what country is to me, but it might be very different than what you think is country versus some of your other guests. We all have maybe a different perception of what country is, and I can elaborate on that in a minute. But yeah, it's hard to know exactly what it is anymore.
It is. When you have country rap winning all kinds of awards, and it's cool stuff. It is wide open. And Michael, I do want to know what country music means to you, what it is to you.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I'm not 100% sure what country is, but I will tell you a little bit about my background to kind of show you at least what I think maybe country is. So, I don't have a cowboy hat on. I don't speak with a twang, right? But I was born in a little steel town along the Ohio River, right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not to other side of the state than where you're from. And, my little town, we didn't have a stoplight. Didn't have a stoplight in my whole town. However, there was one little indicator light, if I remember it correctly, from a trucking company. So you'd at least have an idea if a truck was coming in and out of the depot or that kind of thing. So if that's a spotlight or a stoplight, that's all we had. And my address most of my life was RD1. Now, do you know what RD stands for?
Rural route.
Or RR. For us, it was RD1. And then when I was a teenager, I remember all hell broke loose because we went to RD2. And that amount of change was huge for a little town. We went to RD2. So my point is, I grew up in this little absolutely country town. There were horses, there were cows, there were farms. I wasn't a farmer, but I grew up in and around that. So to me, like, it was a lot of blue collar folks telling stories and telling where they've been and their experiences and their conditioning. And to me, that's what country music is. It's an offshoot of the old folk singers from the beginning into the country, just telling the story where they. Today, I was listening to The Gambler by, of course, Kenny Rogers, which I think is one of the best stories and imagery. I am right there with him, getting that advice from that man.
Yeah.
So it's just that imagery that I love so much. And I guess I'm more kind of country rock, alt country rock. I wouldn't consider myself a country artist. However, there are quite a few country elements to what we've done.
Right. And the first song we're going to play by you is that kind of quintessential. Every country artist has a song about a town.
So Leave This Town. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Right.
It's all about my little town that I had to leave.
Eric Summers last week, he watched his little town kind of just going away.
Yeah.
And I'm from Allentown, and our, Allentown,
I remember.
We just died.
Billy Joel spoke about it. Billy Joel wrote about it.
Everyone, the whole Billy Joel song. Okay, I'm over it.
You're over it.
But it's so much fun when you were living through it, and nobody was working, and there, the unions are protesting, and it was really quite tumultuous.
Remember, I'm from Pittsburgh. It happened to us too. My whole entire family was steel workers, and it was not a fun time in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons I went to college, because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, like I said, my father was a steel worker for decades. My uncles, my cousins, my brother, everybody. But my father just wanted something, for whatever reason, a little different from me. So he and my mom worked their absolute, I could say, asses off, and to provide me for an education to go to college and maybe try something different. And I'm not saying it's better or worse, but just something different. And my life has been very, very good because of it. So I'm grateful for that experience. I always say I have a blue collar attitude, yet I work in a white collar world. But now, being in music and with everybody, I don't care what my collar is. I just want to make music.
You just want to make music and get your story out to a lot of people. But it's interesting. Leave This Town is the song we're going to be listening to. It's about leaving a town. I mean, I guess that's our experience with country music and being in the country. Always looking for that something better, and we don't know what it really is. And here I am all these years later coming back to it.
Yeah. It's strange because I had a conversation with another podcaster who talked about this, and it wasn't that my town wasn't good enough. It just wasn't enough, I guess. That's how she put it. And for me, my spirit, I don't know why, my spirit was wild. And when you grow up in kind of I wouldn't say isolated, but maybe isolated area, it's hard to understand like how you develop that wild spirit. But I always had one, and I always wanted to know what was around the bend. And I used some of that imagery in the song, just about a young man saying, look, no offense, but I got to leave this town to go see what's around that bend and see what's out there. And like I said earlier, I've lived in all 4 time zones in the continental US. So I guess I've kind of lived that.
Were you able to find country in all the places you've been?
You mean as far as country living? Like
country
that
music,
feeling?
country living, yeah.
Yeah, so one place, not in the Bay Area, that was very urban. Wisconsin, matter of fact, one of my songs, Beautiful Day, which I don't believe we're playing that, but I will just plug it for a moment. That actually charted at #1 on the World Indie Music Chart back in May. That was written all about my country times out in the fields of Wisconsin and the rolling hills of Wisconsin and just the grandeur of Wisconsin. So I wrote a song called Beautiful Day about a bunch of young kids, me and my wife and our best friends, just cruising around the countryside, loving on Mother Earth and everything about it. So that's the song called Beautiful Day. And I know we're not playing it, but that just proves that, yes, in Wisconsin we found it. And then out in New Mexico, we lived out in the desert in New Mexico for 7 years where my daughter was born. And boy, that's big sky country. Matter of fact, I just flew back last night, very late from New Mexico, just to visit those big blue skies again.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one of the myths I'm trying to bust. I'm trying to be a myth buster. You said you lived in an urban area, and I moved from New Jersey, and it was hard to find people who appreciated country music. There are pockets of folk. And in urban areas, it's interesting, if you say, I like country music, you don't know what the response is going to be. And I'm surprised. I hear more often than not, oh, I like it too. That's what I listen to. But again, it's just doesn't seem as organized. And
yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
The country genre is kind of fairly new to me. I mean, especially the country rock kind of genre. But of course, some of the bigger names I've been fans of forever. Like we mentioned Kenny Rogers earlier. I mean, my lord, one of I'm a big hero, or he's a big hero of mine, Kenny Rogers. But everywhere I've lived, I mean, it was different time frames too. So when I was in Wisconsin, it was kind of like that post grunge era, right? And then in San Francisco was that alt modern rock of the early 2000s, and
Right.
then New Mexico kind of had that same feel. So like different genres, I guess, were part of different time frames. So I was listening to absolutely everything. A lot of it was sort of that time frame. So
Mhm.
I was music agnostic, I guess, for a very long time.
Right, and nowadays there's so much crossover.
Yeah.
As Paul is listening, and he's saying, but that's part of music, the comings and
Yeah.
goings and the stories that you're
Yep.
telling, and the struggles and the laughs kind of along the way.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how distorted your guitar is sometimes, or maybe how loud you say it, but as long as you have a story to tell, that's the most important thing. And honestly, genres are getting, like you said, so crossed up. I don't know what genres. A lot of the things that I submit to, maybe it's a radio station or an awards or whatever it is, when you look at how big the list of genres is now, it was never that big 20 years ago. There's so many subsets of everything. As far as the country genre, there might be 10 or 12, 15 different subsets. So I don't know what genres are anymore, Randy. I don't. I'm just going to make music, and I hope people want to hear it. I always say that my music should do
Right.
one of three things: make you think, move, or feel. Whatever the genre is, I hope it either makes you move, think, or feel, preferably all three, but at least one of those.
Yeah, I always was told that you never want someone to say, "Oh, that was nice."
Nice is not a commitment. No, it's like
No,
saying interesting.
that was, oh man,
It's
I
not
didn't
a
do my
position.
job. You either have to love it or hate
Yeah,
it.
it's not a position. No.
Not take a side. Take a side. And you say it's wide open. And I submitted a song to a radio station, and they submitted it back and said it was too pop. And I went, "This is the most country song
See, there you go.
on the
There you
label."
go.
And I'm like, I just don't know anymore.
Yeah, I know we kind of have to sort of think about what your genre is, but I'm not so worried about what the label is. I just, like I said, I want it to be something that's listenable and that people want to hear. Whatever that is, it is.
All right. Well, let's go with your first song called "Leave This Town." All right.
Sounds
Let's
good.
give it a listen.
Take me by the hillside. The river flows right where I stand. Save me from the rising tide. The water crests the broken dam. I don't know all the reasons why, but soon I'll have to say goodbye. I'm gonna grab a beer, maybe sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna grab a beer and maybe sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna leave this town. Oh, I'm gonna leave this town. Drive me down a country road, navigate the twisted bed. Show me if I'm moving slow. Just wonder how this trip will end. I don't know all the reasons why, but soon I'll have to say goodbye. I'm gonna grab a beer, maybe sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna grab a beer and maybe sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna leave this town. Oh, I'm gonna leave this town. sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna grab a beer and maybe sit right here for a moment till the sun goes down. I'm gonna leave this town. I'm gonna leave this town. I'm gonna leave this town. I'm gonna leave this town.
Oh, that's a good song.
Thank you so much. You know, it's funny. I swear, I never listen to my own music because why would I? There's so much out there and there's not enough hours in the day. But when I do these kind of things, I get to hear it. And thank you for indulging me. Thank you for playing that.
No, my pleasure. You know, it's just so interesting that two people from Pennsylvania both have songs about leaving their town. My song is called "I'm Not That Girl," and the opening line is "There's a town I left behind."
Oh my goodness. This is not a bash on PA. I'm sorry. It's not a bash. I'm back.
You know, it's interesting. You know, the psychology major in me is going, grew up in the same towns. We're traveling the same circles.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. What's wrong with us?
Well, I'm going to pick up with the conversation. One of the comments, again, that Paul made about labels being limiting. And I agree and I don't agree because I write all kinds of different genres.
Thank you.
The reason we do labels, it's not our job. It's because of the radio stations and licensing.
Yep.
They have to license a certain type of music and they're locked into playing a certain, you know, number of songs. What did I just do?
Yeah, I understand. There's a reason. There is a reason.
Right. There's a reason for it. And I understand the purpose that it serves, but it, like you, it doesn't limit me on what I'm going to write.
Yeah.
But I do have to know how to market it. You know, and that's something musicians are terrible at. I think overall, we don't like to market. We're creative types. And that whole machine that we have to navigate, the business end of things, you know, that's kind of the reality of wanting to get on radio. And even your streaming radio, you have to pick a track, you know.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's one thing I've said before. People have asked me, like, you know, is there like a dark side, or is there like, what's the most difficult thing of being an indie musician? And I say, I don't mean this the wrong way. The writing, the playing, the creative process is so wonderful. It's what moves me. I use my hashtag music is my therapy. And it really is for me for many different reasons. This is not the show for that, but many different reasons. But it's just something that I'm just proud to be able to do. And I'm just so happy that I found it. And it's something that I could, you know, look towards. But like you said, the labels, the genres, yeah, radio stations want to play a certain type of music and they want to know what they're playing. Maybe they don't want a goth metal song, which is nothing wrong with goth metal, but maybe it doesn't fit their audience. So I understand the idea behind it. But the dark side, honestly, is that marketing side, like you were talking about. I thought, and I'm very naive at this, I didn't record my first note until about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. So I'm very, very new to this. I thought you just put out music and it kind of played and people played it and that was it. Not at all. But the dark side is the continual machine of marketing and promoting and posting and then responding and doing it all over again and again and again and again. And it is tough. It is tough.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
When you have a statistic that's 60,000 songs a day.
Every day.
are uploaded to Spotify. And even the Spotify playlist, when you submit a genre.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
know, and, you know, again, you have to know what indie country means to them. Like I won an award in modern country.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Modern country. Okay. What is that?
Yeah. Okay, great. Yay.
Congratulations, by the way.
Where do I go with this?
Yeah.
You know, it's this, you know, and I've learned over the years, I worked with a group called Modern Musicians and learned a lot of, you know, behind the scenes in the digital marketing world. And it makes my head hurt.
It is tough. What's funny, my producer's Bob Beals from Sound Foundation Studios, and he asked me a couple months ago. He has a bunch of artists that can make and music and play music and do all these things, but they didn't know what to do next. I'm by no means an expert, but I was just way ahead of the curve than they were. So I actually put on an hour and a half webinar about like music marketing, very, very basic, very, very 30,000 foot grand view. But you'd just be surprised how just dumbfounded and confused and just, how they just didn't have any idea that all this part had to still happen in order to get heard. And we all have one goal, you, me, everybody, that's just to be heard. To do that is very challenging.
Yeah, and I'm working with a company of a few of my musician friends, Teresa Mahoney and Johnny Chase. We started Artist Edge Collective because some people aren't even ready to turn that corner.
Yeah.
Labeling and getting gigs and having songs, it's all about the song, but you have to really level up. It has to be something people want to hear. And it's just so much, there's so many moving parts to this business.
I always say that I wish it were a talent contest because some of the music that I listen to would be way at the top. But the sad part is that I listen to so much indie music that is phenomenal. And I hate to say no one's going to hear it. No one's going to hear it. And that's really sad. And then conversely, I'm happy it's not a talent contest or else I wouldn't be sitting here with you today. So I need to rely on the music, the marketing part. I need to rely on that part.
Hey, no, not everyone makes it on my show. So I'm really Michael, I want to bring talent, to the forefront. I want to, it's interesting how indie music is organizing. Yeah. We've learned that we're stronger together. We're not competing.
Nope.
But because they can like you, me, it's not a competition where only one person can win. That's when you compete. But if we help each other and help each other with resources, how do you level up? Where do you go? What have you been doing? Where do you think my music should go? Like the song circle I want to start, we want to help each other in in some ways, it's a very friendly kind of marketplace.
Yeah, understood. I mean, I post for other bands. I probably should do it more. And that's actually a reminder to myself. But I have no problem posting other band songs often and just praising what they're doing because they deserve to be heard. If maybe one of my followers happens to find them, that kind of thing could happen. There's a couple artists that I post for, one of which actually just signed with big records. I don't know if you know Michael F. Rose. They go by Bad Horse now. Phenomenally talented musician band that just signed with big records a little bit after I did. He and I spoke a little bit, not to say that I got him in, but he and I did speak a little bit, but he's one of the new acts with big records. Phenomenal talent.
Congratulations on that too.
Oh, thank you.
With big records and joining the big records family.
Yeah, I got really lucky. Matter of fact, Troy, from Blast, obviously, DJ Veep, he's the one that I guess met Mark Rosner, who's the president and CEO, at the ISSA Awards this year. And I think they met and talked a little bit. And the song you just played was the song that started the conversation between me and Troy, and then Troy and Mark. And then Troy introduced Mark and I. We had call together, did a bunch of things together. And then here we are. So that song, Leave This Town, was the thing that opened the door for me to get in with big records. It's amazing how if you go back,
it really is amazing. And I was with Troy in Atlanta.
Oh, right on.
Troy and Mark. Yeah. Because I went down there by myself and I was just kind of like, being a butterfly. And I'm like, hey, today is chocolate chip cookie day. Let's have chocolate chip cookie.
Well, I hope to go next year and I hope it's chocolate chip cookie day.
It'll be close, I'm sure.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. So I met some really great people down there. I was unbelievably sick for the ceremony. Like I was almost like barely standing vertical. Like I think Mark was propping me up, but a lot of the big records people were there and opportunities to network with a lot of other indie artists is just so amazing.
Yeah. I was too new this year, but I think it's every spring. So I'm hoping this spring, I'll be more ready to be a part of that in whatever way, shape or form, but play a role in that. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to plug again the International Singer-Songwriter Association. Who else is giving indie artists awards?
There's a couple small ones. I think I don't know. That's by far the most grand that I've seen, and really, really well. I mean, Tammany, just what she does and how well, not just her, of course, but her team, how well run it is and how grand it is, and they really make you feel good because us little guys, we don't get the red carpet a lot, right? We don't get a lot of the
Right.
accolades, but man, what a great night or just time to just feel good about yourself and what you've done.
Oh, it
what you
really
put out
was.
there.
And then the after party, some of the acts were playing,
Yeah.
and it really, really was something special.
Yeah. Next year.
And that's when I met Troy and we started this show.
Yeah,
So they're actually producing this.
There you go.
It's really good stuff. That's been coming out of it. When indie artists kind of get together and have that creative energy, like magic happens.
I agree. I can't wait to steal some of that magic and hopefully give some back too.
Right. And that's what I'm finding a lot, the give and take, with a lot of artists and the support that's really out there.
Yeah, even when I first started, like I said, I never recorded a note until maybe it was COVID, it was quarantine. So the Michael Botte band, as we know it, I'm a product of quarantine, of COVID. Like when the world kind of shut down and in a time of confusion and chaos and uncertainty, I was desperate to do something positive. So I dusted off my old 25-year-old Shure SM57 microphone, which every song you've heard has been recorded on that microphone.
And it still works 25 years later. Plug it in, boom, there it is.
I record in this room that we're sitting in with two dogs at my feet. With that, I have a pop filter. I do have a pop filter with that old microphone. So yeah, whenever quarantine hit, I just had all this time on my hands. And I thought, I've been writing and playing for so long. I wrote songs 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago. I thought, man, now's the time to try to maybe do something musical. And so that's what happened. So, the Michael Botte band, as we know it, was a quarantine baby, if you will.
Oh, I dug in too for quarantine. Is My Way, the song coming up? Is that a quarantine song?
So that absolutely was written. Yeah. Well, so no, I'm sorry. I got confused. That song was started 25 years ago and it was finished 20 years ago, exactly this year. June of this year would have been the exact time, 20 years ago. So that song sat in a book for 20 years until I was just ready for it to be released. It's not your happy campfire song. It's not Leave This Town or Beautiful Day. It deals with some pretty tough subject matter about, mental health issues and, being okay to ask for help and help find my way. So it really wasn't that campfire, everyone sing along the river kind of song. So it sat there for a really long time. And what's funny about that, if you don't mind for a second, I pitched that song to my producer 2 songs prior to when we finally did it. And he passed twice on it. And I thought, oh man, he passed twice on it because he didn't feel like it had a big enough chorus and a couple different things. And finally, the third time I'd given him some different ideas and we talked about it. So finally, the third time I pitched it, we put it out. So that was the last release that we did. And it's very, very different than the prior 4 or 5. Very different. But hey, we did it.
Yeah, Soul Rest Music is saying hello to us. So
my brother, Soul Res. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we're going to listen to this. And I got to tell you, you capture the restlessness of, the issues, the transitions and the push and pull of it all, and again, it's not the happy song, but it doesn't drag either. It moves along with that tension. And that's really what I like about it. So let's listen to My Way.
Familiar faces fading, a distant dream I can't define, These chains are slowly wearing, I tried in vain to hold back time. Ruby-coated memories, they speak to me with such disdain, with such disdain. I can't see behind me through the tainted window pane. provide some clarity of what lies in front of me. The roots are broken, but my wings are open, come what may. Help me find my way. Help me find my way. To feel the ground beneath me, it seems too far. My hands are tied. My hands are tied. Sensory confusion, my sense of touch has been denied. To cover perfect dawn, the morning can't come round too soon, oh, round too soon. Walk into the garden and cut the fragile flowers in bloom. The view provides some clarity of what lies in front of me. The roots are broken, but my wings are open, come what may. Help me find my way. 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 Help me find my way.
I'm going to agree with Soul Res Music here that this would make a great soundtrack in the near future.
Boy, that'd be a tough movie to watch.
You know what, though? I think COVID, in a way, helped everyone kind of normalize. Everyone was anxious, depressed, traumatized. And it was okay to be anxious and depressed, traumatized. You know, and it kind of opened up and I think alleviated some of the stigma.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, people were allowed to feel crappy, you know. And I'm hoping we continue to recognize that there are going to be times when that happens.
Yeah, it was time of, like I said, chaos, confusion, uncertainty. We didn't know what this thing was or what was going to happen next. And like I say, I always use the hashtag music is my therapy. If I didn't have this music over COVID, I don't know, things would have gone maybe a different way. So yeah, I'm very happy that I found it. I'm very happy that I finally found the right producer that I trusted to put my way out there, because as you just heard, again, it's not the campfire song. It's a pretty powerful message. And thank you, Soul Res. I'd love to watch that movie. We might need some Kleenex or some tissues. Whatever movie we put that in, man, I don't know.
Right. Oh, man. But it's you know, it's a pointed message, like you said, and it's just well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I really, as someone, you know, who was in the field and in the trenches during COVID,
yeah,
you know, that could have been a theme song for a lot of people.
Help me find my way. Yes.
Yes. Get me out of here.
Yeah. Maybe I was too late. I should have released that. See, I should have done it. I should have done it earlier.
But it's out there now, and
It's
that's,
out there now,
that's
man.
all that counts.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a tough field to, to get your way and when to release and when not to release. And should it be a Friday or should it be?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just happy we finally did it. I was so much anxiety over putting that out, but I have to say this: I can't tell you the details, but I will give you a teaser. Probably announced in the next week or two. This is the 16th. That song will be a part of something, hopefully to do a lot of good in this world. So that song was selected to be a part of this organization. So hopefully it'll be announced here soon enough, but I can't say all the details. I wish I could. I know that was a really awful teaser, but in a couple of weeks, hopefully I'll be able to say something.
Okay. Well, I'll keep you all posted, and I'll keep everyone posted.
Yes. Yes. I know you're
show.
all going to be waiting for the announcement. I know everyone's going to be waiting.
For everyone who saw Eric Summers last week, he just released some new music. So go to his YouTube page and his website, and he's got some great things coming out too.
Oh, right on. Good for him, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy in the industry.
Actually, my next release is next week. Actually, I just looked at the calendar. October 27th. Wow, that's next week.
Wow.
Yeah, next week. Oh my! I thought there was another week in between. Yeah, my next release is October 27th. Holy cow! I need to
wait a minute. Today is
the 16th.
Yeah.
It's next Friday.
Yeah.
I thought there was another week.
Not this Friday. It's the following.
Correct. Yeah. Next. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my shit together.
Exciting. I'm dropping another single next week at the same time. So.
Oh, right on. Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're both going to take Spotify by storm on the same.
We are. We are. You never can predict these things. The one song that did take off for me, and it's still going, and I'm like, I wouldn't have picked it, but I'm glad somebody did.
Well, I mean, you do this whenever you release a song. Unfortunately, Randie, it's not yours anymore. So the audience has to decide what they like, don't like, what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear. It's not your song, it's their song. And it might mean something, whatever song that you just said took off that you're like, I wouldn't have picked that one. That might mean something very differently to someone else than what you meant and thought when you wrote it. And there's a couple big examples in rock and roll. I'll give one big example in the grunge rock area. Everyone knows Eddie Vedder, right? From Pearl Jam.
Right.
If you don't, what rock have you been living under? Well, his song Alive has been, made into this anthem celebrating life and everything. But if you listen to the lyrics and if you listen to what that song's about, it was the complete opposite. So Eddie Vedder had to say, look, okay, I now understand that what I meant when I wrote this song is not what you think it is. So he's just accepted it. And now it's become this positive anthem for the world. And that is not the way that song started. You just never know.
And they never know where it's going to go. That song has a life of its own. And if you look at the demographics, and you should do this, like it's getting more plays in Brazil than it is in the United States.
If you could figure it out, let me know.
Figure it out. Go Brazil. I haven't been there since 2016. So maybe
right on. maybe they remember you.
But my big Olympic debut. Well, that was my second Olympics, actually.
Oh, right on.
So good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so we were talking about the mental health issues that really came out of COVID and drove a lot of stuff. But it's nice that people are more accepting of songs like this and the story that it's telling.
Yeah, and I'll say the next release is a song called Radiate, and it actually deals with very much the same subject matter. Now, that was a COVID song, 100%. I wrote it in the heat, the heaviness or whatever of COVID. So that is absolutely a COVID song, but we chose to play it in a different manner. It's more of an alt pop rock song. There is a country element that hopefully when it gets released, I'm going to ask people if they could hear the country element that we put in. But it's much more alt pop rock, but it's kind of the same idea. Radiate. So it's not out yet, but October 27th, that'll deal with sort of the same subject matter, but in a little bit more fun format, a little more rockin' format than something like My Way, which is more that kind of singer-songwriter, if you will, sort of. Right. However, my producer and I did purposely, we were going to make it more of a singer-songwriter, just me and a guitar. Okay. But, it was kind of a heavy song. And as we were thinking about it and going through it, we wanted to make sure that we added layers. So you'll notice the song layers a lot with the piano and the organ and different things. So we wanted to make sure we layered it because we thought it's a pretty melancholy song. And if it's just me and the guitar, maybe that wouldn't be as powerful. So we wanted to bring in the band, if you will, which the band does come in the second part of the first verse. But so that's why we did that. This next song, Radiate's, just much more pop alt rock, a lot of downstrokes, a little bit more distortion, but it has a country element to it. It does in the chorus and the second verse. Maybe, hopefully you'll hear it.
Michael, you've been talking about your producer, and to the people not in the business, talk to them about what a producer does and finding your producer. I mean, I know I live and die by my producer. I'm so glad.
Me too.
That I have him, and as much as we can fight in the studio, we get each other, and I know he understands my music. But tell me your process for finding a producer.
That's funny. Yeah, Bob and I have only had one fight. So Bob Beals has been in the music business for 45 years, a very, very long time. He's been the front man of bands, lead singer, guitar player, everything. But as time has progressed, he just found his way, what I call the other side of the desk. He's on the production side. And matter of fact, what's funny though, is he just texted me a couple weeks ago. He just got a gig where he's now the lead singer, lead guitar player for like a Southern rock band. So he's now jumping off to the other side of the desk. And I said, Bob, wait a minute. We have songs to do. What are you doing, man? You're not going on the road.
Back to the studio. Back to the studio.
You're my producer. Get your, but he'll work it out. But so what was funny about Bob and I, so a lot of people don't know this, but I did put out a self-produced, 100% self-produced EP called Radiate, oddly enough, as my first output. I learned how to record, learned how to produce, I guess, and bought software and hit a bunch of buttons and watched a million videos and whatever it was. So I put out an EP in early 21 called Radiate. And one of those, so I put that out and it was a respectable output. Look, it was respectable. If you played it against a lot of songs, maybe it would hold its own. But once I heard how Bob can make me sound, which I will say that a producer's main job is to get the best out of the artist. And I know that's a very simple answer. Just get the best out of them. When I sent Bob a demo, matter of fact, it was New Rising Sun, which I believe you're going to play.
I'm going to play that next.
Yes. When I sent him my demo, and then Bob has this process called, so I record all these demos, right? Just to get my vision across and whatever. When I sent him this demo, I'll never forget, Bob has this process where I send him a demo, and it's the funniest thing. And he'll laugh if he listens to this. He'll go silent for like weeks. And I'm thinking, well, did the file get stuck, or like, is it in my outbox? Like, why haven't we talked about this? And we'll text about other things, but he just kind of goes radio silent. What he does is he has to just sit and let the song marinate and just let the song tell him what it needs. I know it sounds cliche, but my God, does it work? So then he'll send me an email back called initial concept. Everything says initial concept. So the point of the story is when he sent me back the initial concept, the first demo that he did, after hearing my demo, my wife and I were listening to it, and she was like, "Babe, is that the same song?" I said, "Haha, that's what a producer does. Yes, that's my song, but it's so much better." So that is a long way of answering what a producer does. It just makes you better.
I tell him it takes your song and makes it from black and white to color.
That's actually a good way of saying it. I joke with Bob that I send him like these dirty rocks and he polishes them into these precious stones. Same concept, right? So that's what a producer does, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you heard, and what's funny about the next release, Radiate, that was the first song that I did on my EP that I ripped out of the universe, by the way. After I worked with Bob, I ripped that. The good news about putting music up, you could rip it out as fast as you put it up. So the first song off that self-produced EP, Radiate, was called Radiate. And that's the song that we just redid. And for the love of God, it is so much better than the version that I did by myself.
I'll tell you a funny story, though. My first song I put on Spotify was, I thought, Radio Ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I was told it was mastered. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I put it up on Spotify and I heard it. And I went, oh my God, this is not mastered. This is really awful. And I tried to take it down and I thought it would disappeared. And then my friend showed me that I have a Spotify radio station. And the first song they played and based the Spotify list off of,
was that
so it was Pandora. Was that song. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Get rid of it.
After it was like grunge, and I'm like, oh man, where's the rock that
Yeah. Oh yeah, crawl under. Thankfully, mine got all taken away pretty quickly, so that's good news. Mine were all gone.
I don't know, the remnant somewhere, and the fact that it's like it's on all these playlists is
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, yeah. Live and learn. Live and learn. What's funny about the release we're going to do after this release, so the next release will be in February, is the second song off my self-produced EP, because obviously I couldn't do these well enough myself. I'm having Bob redo the songs, so we're kind of going through the one that charted at #1 in Europe in the World Indie Music Chart, "Beautiful Day." That was one of my songs on that EP too. So I'm having Bob go through and redo my songs together and make it just so much better. So much better.
Yeah, it's Beautiful Day 1.0, 2.0.
Yeah, it's like 9.0 whenever he got his hands on it.
By the time you're done with it. All right, everyone, let's listen to New Rising Sun.
All right.
Let's take a drive all through the night to rest along the way. Sometimes we feel the need to move on. Sometimes we need to stay. I remember where we came from, and I sure know where we've been. This is not how the story ends. It's how it begins. Oh, ready to face a distant horizon, stare into space at the new rising sun. Ready to face a distant horizon, stare into space at the new rising sun. Stare at the new rising sun. What do you see? Master illusion or a pure reality? Let's go get lost in a familiar place, 'cause where you are is where I'll be. I remember where we came from, and I sure know where we've been. This is not how the story ends. It's how it begins. Ready to face a distant horizon, stare into space at the new rising sun. Ready to face a distant horizon, stare into space at the new rising sun. Stare at the new rising sun. Let's go get lost in a familiar place, 'cause where you are is where I'll be. Let's go get lost in a familiar place, 'cause where you are is where I'll be. I remember where we came from, and I sure know where we've been. This is not how the story ends. It's how it begins. Ready to face a distant horizon, stare into space at the new rising sun. Ready to face a distant horizon.
And that's you coming full circle, it sounds like.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's actually the first song so that was the demo, right? That I sent to Bob. That's the very first song we did. And ever since that first one, I thought, okay, I guess I have a producer now. Like, I guess this is real.
And it's a true experience. It's taking steps. You go from being a musician in your living room to, really taking a path to your dream.
Yeah, it's crazy. When we first started this, he asked me when we first started, like, what do you want? Like, what's your goal? And I said, goal. I just want to make music. I don't know. What do you mean goal? I didn't know what a goal was. It was just a very fun thing to do over COVID. And then after that first song, and then we got pretty good accolades on that song. I have to say, a lot of it from the production standpoint. A lot of different Taxi A&R reps and some other folks had done some good reviews on that song. A lot of it was about the production. And then I thought, well, I guess the stakes have changed now. It's not just about the fun. It's of course fun, or else I wouldn't do it. But the stakes have changed a little bit, which is obviously why I'm sitting here talking to someone like you and with big records. Like, the stakes have changed a bit. So I better get my act together.
So you mentioned Taxi, and 10 years ago, I mean, almost to the month, I went to a Taxi road rally. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to learn. And one thing he said is, well, number one, it's all about the song. And number two, you need a 5-year plan. You need to start having goals and stepping. So in a nutshell, in the last remaining couple minutes here, what's your 5-year plan? What's coming next for Michael?
Well, so that's kind of the good news and bad news, right? Now that I'm with Big Records, and I kind of put out this video that I made for them a little while ago. It's think big, dream big, Big Records. So when I had my first meeting with Mark, he was like, look, you're going to have to decide how far you want to maybe push this. It doesn't mean I'm going to get everywhere, but it's just how far you want to push. Look, Randie, I have a career and a family and obligations, and I have all these things, which I love very, very much. But like I said, the stakes have changed a little bit. So as far as where it might take me, I mean, with Big Records, there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to reality TV, when it comes to radio play, when it comes to music and sync licensing, when it comes to even acting, when it comes to sponsorship. So I hate to cop out. There's just so many avenues. I don't exactly know where we're going to go. What I do know is I'd really like to focus on more like sync and licensing. I think that might be somewhere that I'd like to focus on. I need to learn a little bit more about it. As a matter of fact, I had meetings today with folks regarding that. So maybe that's something that's more prominent maybe in the future. But man, Randie, it's really hard to tell only being with them for a few weeks and the grandeur on how they think. I don't know. I don't know.
So you're still formulating your long-term, short-term plans. Do you have anything coming up, any shows? If people want to find you, Michael, how can they find you?
Yeah, the good news is that Michael Botte, B-O-T-T-E, band is what I use everywhere on all of the platforms, social media, the streaming platforms. The good news about using a distributor, as you know, like DistroKid is who I was with. However, now with Sony Orchard, which I'm very happy to be with Sony Orchard now. They put your music on every site known to man. So it's Michael Botte Band. However, on Twitter, it was too long, so it was M Botte Band. But to be honest, I don't really use Twitter much for music. It's more just a news source for me. But if you're so inclined to find me on Twitter, it's M Botte Band.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We're going to find you everywhere.
Yes. Google that name and I'll pop up somewhere.
And you have a new record coming out in 2 weeks.
27th of October. It's much more in that alt pop rock. The song's called Radiate. And it's all about just, recognizing maybe that you're going through something and just closing your eyes and using the power of the mind and just kind of, being victorious over whatever it is that you're going through. So I close my eyes and then I radiate. That's part of the chorus. And I just been putting up a few little teaser videos to kind of get the chorus out there. And I'll probably do, unfortunately, folks, you're going to see a lot of posts from me this week and next week, probably from Big Records as well, promoting the song. So I apologize in advance. Just bear with me. But we're going to promote the hell out of this the next 2 weeks.
Oh, do it. I'm going
to do it. I'm going to do it.
You have to find new fans. That's what it's really all about, your email list and all that stuff. Wait, we have another comment here. Oh, Billy Hill says it's all good stuff. He's looking forward to it.
Hey, brother Billy, thank you.
Yeah, we've had some people hanging in there with us, and we've been on a lot of platforms. We've been on 2 Facebook sites and a bunch of YouTube sites. So there's a lot of place to find the show.
Right on.
You can put in your brag book, and
Yeah, I will. I've been fortunate enough to go through 3 different Blast, I guess, subsets of podcasts, the original and then the implosion with Troy and then now the ranch. I am
Oh,
so fortunate to be worthy to play a role in all these different
right.
subsets of the podcast, if you will. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah,
for
we're
that.
really, really happy to have you here
Thank you.
and hang out afterwards because I think we could connect because we are not that far apart. And that's really
No.
good news too.
No.
So being able to connect as artists, like having you in a same room would be like stupendous.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
Actual
maybe we
physical
could get our
contact.
dogs together and like.
I have
a
2 pups.
play
I have 2 pups. They're outside right now. My wife, I said, please get the dog because they're on my feet all the time. I said, I can't have dogs on my feet for this. So they're outside right now.
I have dog. My dog was just here now. He's just getting up. No, he's right there. So he's been here, like in between. I've been like,
Yeah.
all right, you know.
They're very demanding, so I can't have them in here.
You can't record with them there, like.
It's it's too much. He just, Teddy Bear, he just wants Daddy, to pay attention to him all the time, and then Ginger gets mad because Teddy Bear gets the attention. So it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing. So my
My
wife,
dog is not the demanding one. I have an African gray parrot. Oh,
whoa, wow.
she's been uncharacteristically quiet.
Oh, my
Usually during
goodness.
broadcasts, you could hear her screeching her heart out because I'm
No,
not in the
no.
same room with her.
Nothing.
So she's
Nothing. Oh.
been good. I have to go give her like a
Yeah.
pocket of cashews right now.
Something. Yes, reward that thing, please.
Okay, Michael, hang out. Thank you again for spending some time with me. And next week we have Mary Jo Gothard coming up. So we're going to have the girls in the house. So that's going to be really. Mary Jo was she was a winner for ISA last year,
Oh, right on.
and she was doing interviews for ISA. So I'm really thrilled I can return the favor and have her on the show next week.
Oh, right on. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Honestly, I love hanging out. This wasn't an interview. You and I just chatted music for an hour.
We were just going to have fun.
Was there like a schedule or anything? I don't think so.
I don't know. Every couple of minutes, play a video, and that's what I do.
It's all good, man. Thank you so much for doing this in your time. I appreciate
All right,
it.
hang out. We got a little outro. And everyone out there, thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I know it's been fun having you on this part of the show for the comments and everything. So we don't know how to get the YouTube comments up. I can only see some of the Facebook, so we're working on that. All right, so thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you.
I'm on the road, don't know where it goes. I'm on a road, follow your heart, it won't let you down. Follow your heart, take the steps, be on your way. Take the steps, when you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, 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 you're gonna shine. Night, everyone.